Hi, I'm DJ Ware. On this episode of the Cyber Gizmo, I want to talk a little bit today, obviously, about VPNs, double VPNs, dVPNs, and Tor. This is not a review. It's not a raw review anyway. It's more of a what is it? How does it work? What's it good for? So first of all, what is a VPN? I mean, it's a virtual private network, but basically, all it does is encrypts your traffic between your home and your device and the VPN service, wherever that may be. You can pick where that VPN service is in most of them. So you can say, well, I want this to go to Switzerland, or I want this to go to New York, or I want this to go to, some other place on the planet. But wherever that endpoint is, that all of your traffic is encrypted. Not just the browser, not all of it is encrypted as it goes to the virtual private network. Once it gets there, it gets decrypted by them. So the tunnel gets decrypted, and then it spills out onto the internet. So it looks to the internet as if you were in the VPN operating. These are ratings based on features, and that was Movad had a 9.5. This isn't based on performance. This is based strictly on features. Movad has no logs. It's been proven in court that they don't keep any. They actually were actually trying to force them, and they were like, "We don't have any logs to give you. Sorry, dude." WireGuard is its baseline. It's excellent for speed and privacy. Although a lot of people aren't recommending it anymore. I think there's been some cooling off around Mulvad, and it could be because of some of the EU policies. But anyway, key weaknesses: there's no streaming, and unblocking, and no live chat. So you got no place to go if you're having a problem, other than they do have pretty decent manuals that'll help walk you through it. Audited, yes. It is for privacy purists and users that don't necessarily want to use their credit card. They might use their cash, or they might use cryptocurrency to buy their time. Proton VPN is comparable. They also have no logs, and it's been audited. They're Swiss-based, which don't mean much anymore. It did at one time. It is they offer a free tier, and they have what they call Secure Core, which is Multihop. We'll talk about that. It is an open source app. However, you'll find if you take the free tier, you'll get the plus service for a few days, and then it'll revert to the free. It is audited. They one of the few that offer a free service, and it's also a privacy balance. So, iVPN also very good. No logs, been audited. It has an anti-tracker. It also has multi-hop. Cash crypto payments are possible with it. It's a smaller server network. ExpressVPN, fast speeds, has what they call the lightweight protocol. Excellent streaming and torrenting is what it's built for. It's expensive, though, and it's hosted out of the British Virgin Islands. But there's no logs that we know of. So what is double VPN? What is that? Is that like a double Sunday? Kinda. So as far as what you see from your perspective, you have the same encrypted tunnel you had going to the VPN server 1. It looks the same to you, except VPN server 1 decrypts the tunnel traffic that it got from you, re-encrypts a new tunnel to VPN server 2, and passes it along. That one then decrypts and then puts it out on the network. Now, if that bothers you, remember that's what they were doing before on a VPN. So yeah, this encrypted tunnel up here, VPN server 1, it has to decrypt it before it puts it out on the internet anyway. So the only thing it's doing is it's just adding latency, and it's making it harder for someone to target that VPN2 server, because you don't know where it is. They might look and say, oh, I see where you're going, but they have no clue where it's going to pop out. However, the other side of the coin is that VPN server 2 is still on their infrastructure. Anyway, double VPN feature ranking. This is again is by features. Mulvad has multi-hop. Trying to say multi-hop Mulvad. No. So Mulvad has a feature that you can turn on called multi-hop. That can put up to 5 locations in a hop, or you can specify 2 or 3, whatever. It's it's a moderate impact for the extra one, but every one you add on is another hit, right? So yeah, there's no logs. We covered that. It's audited, privacy first. IVPN, multi-hop, 10 plus combinations here. So they've offered, I think this is the way it's going to go is how many combinations can you do? Proton VPN calls their secure core. It is still multi-hop the way it works. So yeah, 3 to 5 locations there. And then, yeah, all the same thing. And then Surfshark is 20 combinations. Their speed is low to moderate. Yeah, it's a budget multi-hop anyways. I haven't priced them. I don't know. What is Decentralized VPN or Decentralized Virtual Private Network? Well, this isn't new. Like I said, it's about 8 years old. It seems to be coming on its own lately. There's a lot of interest in it because there were 2 near panics when VPN laws were attempted to pass both in the U.S. and EU. The user connects to a mesh. The mesh is not controlled by any corporation. It's those people that are in there are us. If you're using a dVPN service, you are part of the mesh network. It can hop around in there as much as it likes until it reaches whatever count you said, and then it forces it out onto the web. At that point, when it's leaving that mesh, it looks like a normal VPN traffic. It decrypts, and it looks just like you were directly connected to that website. It just took you a while to get there, that's all, because you were bouncing around in there somewhere. Who does it? Well, they have NIM. They have a fast version, which is 2 hop, and a slow version, which is 5, called MixNet. It's best, I think, to protect the metadata. Metadata is everything today in security because you can glean an awful lot from someone based on the metadata that's trafficked in the headers that come with the packets. NIM has about 700 to 800 nodes. Currently, that's an estimate. It's not theirs, it's us, again, people participating. You may find less, you may find more, depending on what time of day and what part of the world you live in. But NIM is really meant for maximum anonymity. I found their fast version the most usable of any of the dVPNs. Mysterium, what's this thing with the blockchain incentive? Well, if you participate and leave your system up and allow people to use you for bandwidth, they will pay you in tokens as a service. So, yeah, these are again going to be variable. There's no central logs because there's no central server that's gathering them anything. Now, Mysterium claims to have 20,000. I don't know. I didn't count them. But it's really meant to protect your IP and your anonymity on the internet. The 2 oldest ones are Sentinel and Orchid. They've been around the longest. They offer their own dVPN tokens, which are basic credits to allow you to use. The more you use, the more you get for free. So the more that you allow other people to use your network, the more you get to use the network. That's the philosophy anyway. So Orchid has OXT tokens and Sentinel has dVPN. It should tell you who was first, right? So yeah, the speeds are going to be variable. It's old news. They're decentralized, no logs. They claim there are thousands. Both of them do. Again, didn't count them. They probably do. I don't know. But it's pay-for-use bandwidth on Orchid, and then it's a subscription on Sentinel, I believe. So now we run into Tor. Why is Tor on here? Well, Tor is used for anonymity as well. So it works a little differently. Now, this is the Tor network. Now, we're not talking about the browser here, although the browser will use this network There is people get confused. They think Tor is a browser. No, Tor is not just a browser. It is also a network that you can connect to and pass all of your traffic through it. It uses an entry guard, which is a user-run facility, that it's a trusted user. That's the only one that knows who you are. And it knows that you're using Tor. The entry guard then routes, it takes off its layer, decrypts it, and in that layer it tells it where you should send the packet. Because you built all this chain that it was going to go through at the time you created the packet to send. So entry guard peels off it decrypts it, looks at it, says, "Oh, I'm sending it to this server in the middle relay, one of those." So that's what it does. It sends it. It has no idea what you sent because it can't decrypt what you're saying because it's still 2 layers deep in encryption. Your actual data is 2 layers down in encryption. So yeah, the middle layer, it gets it and it peels off its part. This is why they call it an onion, by the way. It peels off its encryption layer, decrypts it, looks at it, says, "Oh, well, I'm sending it to this exit relay." And that's exactly what it does. It sends it to the exit relay. The exit relay gets it. It peels off its encryption, and this time it knows your data packet and where it's going. It looks at it. It says, "Okay, I've got the packet." It sends it off to the website. Done. So that's how the onion works. There are 2 pieces to Tor. There's the Tor Network and the Tor Browser. The Tor Browser is probably the one you're the most familiar with. It's kind of a Firefox-based browser that's used for accessing the Tor network. There's also Direct if you have a SOCKS app. If you have an application that's SOCKS enabled, it can participate in the Tor network. Anyway, the Tor network is for all applications and all network traffic. The Tor browser is only for browsing the web. There are 2 halves to the Tor network. One is this part right here where you're looking at the middle relay inside. That's a .onion network. So there are servers in there too. And a lot of people go, "Oh, those are dark web servers. You shouldn't use those." No, there's no. We'll cover that in one of the myths. Now, there are actual legitimate servers in there, and the reason they're in there is to make things life easier for you so you don't have to keep going out to the website and then back into Tor for every packet. So, yeah, it makes things faster. So, yeah, anyway, that's what that's all about. The Tor browser gives you fingerprint resistance. Fingerprinting, what's that? That's an attempt by a website to figure out who you are. They try to match up your traffic, the way your browser is configured, the size of your screen, the operating system you're on, the version of your operating system, yada, 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 yada. Now, on the distro side, which would be using the Tor network, what's available? Well, on Linux, you have Tails. Tails is, you can run just the browser through Tor, or you can force all the traffic through Tor. It persists. Whether persistence is on or off is up to you. Persistence means that if you want to save a file, it'll save it to your USB stick, right? Because everything runs off on Tails. You run Tails from here. You don't install it on your drive. You install it to one of these, and this is what you run. So we call that a live mode in Linux. So yeah, it's excellent. Normal method is it's totally amnesic. So every time I reboot my system, this gets wiped. Except everything, all the programs and everything are still there. It's just that all the browsing data, the cookies, all the junk that you downloaded gets wiped. And then you get this back as you installed it initially. And so for your next session, when you boot up into it. So yeah, that's how that works. It's all live RAM. There's no disk involved unless you turn on persistence, and then it stores it in a special location on this. It's really meant to be portable. You can take that USB with you and use it on any machine that supports Tails. Yeah, and so there's no logging, there's no traces that are kept. So yep, it's good for that for high risk sessions. Whonix, on the other hand, is a little bit different. Whonix is a service. You have two machines basically. They can be VMs. You have the server part, which is the connection to the Tor network. Then you have the client, which is the kind of feeding everything. They call the server a gateway. So everything is that's going out through to the internet is going through the gateway, through the Tor network, and out onto the internet. So that's how it works. It does support full installations as well as VM based, so you can install this on hardware. It is portability, of course, is limited unless you're carrying it on something small that can run both the gateway and that. Like if you're taking 2 Pis with you or something, I don't know. But anyway, its isolation is through the gateway isolation of Whonix. It's long term. It's meant for use at home, being used at work. So and it supports leak-proof apps. It's medium to high learning curve though, because you've got to learn how to set it up. Then it uses the configuration for Tor to do that. Qubes is even one step further up the chain. It uses Whonix and the gateway, but it uses virtual machines that are all persistent. So it shares, there are some virtual machines where they are persisted. You might mark them for work or for home use or throwaway. So they have those too, where you don't exactly trust the sites you're going to. So you don't want to store a cookie or anything or a virus that it might load on you. So yeah, you can be infected and survive it because it has those layers that prevent it from crawling on into another cube. So yeah, its portability, of course, is very poor with cubes, although I know people that have used it on laptops before. They usually take some pretty significant resources to do that. But yeah, you potentially could do it, but you're certainly not going to run it on a phone. It is, and if somebody's going to write, "Oh, I've got it running on my phone," I'm sure you do. Zen VM compartmentalization is your threat model protection, and then it's really meant for isolation and anonymity. Those are two different concepts in cubes. Don't apply it to the same VM because it isn't. A work VM is meant to keep the work that you do separate from your homework and allows you to compartmentalize your life so that you're not having files that you use for work available to someone when you're using the home side of your machine. So its resource use is pretty high, and also its learning curve is pretty high too. If you prefer the graph, then there's the same look at it performance-wise, where you can kind of see how things kind of lay out. What about the others? Why didn't you do those? Well, it's a matter of time and how much time I want to spend on it, and that tells me the story. Most of the results are around the same areas. So if I'm testing a double VPN, they're close. If I'm testing a VPN that's WireGuard based, they're close. The only differences that I ran into was with the dVPNs. Some didn't work at all at particular times, and sometimes they would work. So I guess in recap from this side of things, yeah, obviously no VPN is your fastest method, but if you want some protection, then yes. Anyway, I'm DJ Ware. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on Rumble for the second half of this. Bye for now.